Warning, the following contains actions performed by idiots. What you're about to view should not be taken as factual or educational. For further questions, please refer to your Google. So, I bought cutoff wheels, which has nothing to do with organizing my thoughts, and 3 whiteboards. One for the Jeep, one for the Bug, one for the Miata. There's not a whiteboard for that because that is literally a on-the-fly, what on earth do we want to do today vehicle. So I'm going to open these up and we're going to jot down some ideas. And as you guys give me ideas, I'm going to add them to each board. Okay, for the Javette, call it El Javette because it makes it sound spicy. Bodywork, straighten all the panels, grind and smooth the welds, sand and smooth, primer, block sand, all that jazz. Finish the hood, finish the fenders, finish a official windshield mount. Another category, we have roll cage. I want to kind of cut the bed so it fits in like a puzzle so we can take it out when we need it to. And the rear diff. Engine, we need head gaskets, which should have been next to heads. Figure out the radiator. Jamie at PFI wants me to convert it to drive-by cable, not drive-by wire. Purchase Holley EFI. Turbo setup. Exhaust piping. We're gonna try and do its own separate oil system in the rear. Water to air intercooler, which me and Jamie found one that we want to do. I have a water pump from the old Bug setup and intercooler pipes. So that's a list of everything that I need to do. Let me know what I need to add to that. I like this name. I don't know about you guys, MR Bug, but Mr. Bug, I kind of like that. So bodywork, we still need to widen the rear section right there. Finish the hood, grind and smooth all the welds, strengthen the body. I'd like to run some supports from side to side and front to back, just kind of make this more rigid. So I am going to try and make this body removable officially. So I want to do mounts from the body to the cage, and then body to chassis mounts. Body filler for all this stuff. Prime and block sand. I think I'm gonna have this one vinyl wrapped, and then plexiglass windshield. Engine. I need to finish the wiring. I need to buy Honda injectors, an oil feed sandwich plate, axles, intercooler piping, blow-off valve. Chassis, roll cage and body mounts kind of go together. Seam weld all the sections of metal that are layered that I basically split. Some random patch panels up by the dash, just random sections that are gonna look kind of goofy if I just leave them open. So that should cover most of what we have to do on that. Again, I'll add more as I think of it. The Miata cart is fairly simple because it is mostly done. So Mina got rear-ended in this thing and it kind of tweaked our little taillight panel. So if we see fit, I'd like to redo that and then paint the new roll cage. Chassis, we need to make a new roll cage, and I'd like to relocate the battery so it is not our armrest. Then on the engine, we're going to get mega squirt, bigger injectors, do basically I want to try the same size turbo, but actually do an efficient setup with a normal wastegate, so I need to add a wastegate to this. I don't know if we're going to do an intercooler, and I don't know if we're going to redo the turbo manifold, but basically we want to get this engine to like a healthy, reliable, like 250, 300 wheel. Do pistons and rods, so I should add all that to this. Okay, pistons, rods, wastegates. Wastegate, I apologize for my penmanship. I can read it. If you can't, it's cool because I'm going to tell you what it says. Also, on all of them, we have a cutoff wheel count. These numbers currently are kind of just what I pulled out of my butt. That seems about right. We cut the entire body off of Miata, and then I cut the cage. So 57 seems like a pretty good number because we cut everything. On the Bug, we have 62 because I cut an entire MR2 up and then I cut 2 Bugs apart. 62. On the Javette, most of the Corvette unbolted except for some fiberglass, and then I had to cut the Jeep body in a couple sections and then rework the roll cage several times. So that's why it's a little bit lower of a number, but still astronomical. Being that each of these little 15 packs cost $30, which yes, I'm gonna start buying those on Amazon, but I'm out today, and in case I need them, I didn't want to leave again. It's cold and snowy outside, so now I'm set. We still don't have head gaskets. So they are arriving today. I know that for a fact. So we'll probably get those in a couple days. Until I have those, I still have some work to do on the hood and the fenders. So I think I'm gonna get started on that after I do a cleanup of the shop, because it is disastrous. Okay, so this is what we got going. I drew a straight-ish line from here to there, and then cut that, and then cut these fenders down to what you see before you, and then basically it's gonna do something like that. I haven't even looked at it from the front yet, so we're gonna find out. I am going to make, sorry, I'm shaking. I'm gonna make this part of the fender part of the hood, and then I'm gonna leave a tiny little gap between the two, line it up nice, make a little gap, and then put like some weather stripping or just like a little rubber strip so it doesn't shake against each other, or there isn't a gap, it'll be hopefully kind of clean. So that's what I got going on both sides now. So I'm gonna go ahead and tack these on, see how they look, and then make a couple more little stitch welds, make sure it's strong. And then one thing I'm concerned about back here that I didn't really think about is, so I tacked this part onto this fender, just so I had, you know, I could move it. So that probably meant that I put this under some tension. So I'm scared that when I do cut this, this is gonna flare out a little bit. So I'm gonna try and weld up here a little more. Hopefully, I don't know if that's gonna help retain the strength or the shape at all, but that's my concern, is when I cut this, this is gonna pop out. So there's really no way around that, so we'll find out. So I'm gonna get that going and then work my way back to here, and then we have to fill this spot because you guys didn't like that there was a big gap there. So that's what's next. Okay, so despite my best efforts, on camera it might be abundantly clear. Do you see on this one how it really curves out a bit more? So I measured from the hood to here on both sides, and it's exact. However, I think where we went wrong is when I put these on, I literally just tacked them on there, and then I pulled them out until the inside lip touched the hood, and then that was my line that I made. So I think one of these, I think that one sticks out a little bit more than that one. On camera, it might actually look abundantly more, but I think the lighting's kind of screwing with it because that side looks like itty tiny bitty, and it's not. In fact, okay, it's about 2.25, give or take, and 2.5. So there's a 1/4 inch difference on each side. The only way to really remedy that would be to, how could we do that? No, because that side's already cut. So I'd have to push this in a 1/4 inch and then match that curve. Or I can trim some of this up here ever so slightly, basically just to make this look less aggressive. So let me ponder that for a moment, which kind of sucks because I like how it droops off. That little tiny bit of curve there, I kind of like that, but I don't know, let me think about it for a minute. Okay, so I was gonna keep this part of the Jeep just as a souvenir, but I can get that to line up really good right there, and then I could probably get that to line up really good on the other side. So I don't know if I'm gonna cut out that rust. I'm gonna cut this up and kind of see how it's gonna look, and then if I have enough, I'll cut the rust out and patch it with this while we're at it. So that's what I'm doing now, cutting more stuff. I don't know where I left off with the fenders as far as updating you guys, but I kind of made that line and kind of exaggerated that poke right there. I don't know, I mean, I don't think it looks bad, but I'll leave that kind of up to you guys on whether I should do that or just follow that line all the way up. So I did that on both sides, and it made it look a little better. Once it's all one color, that'll help a lot. And then on the sides here, so I screwed up as per usual here at Garage Idiots. I didn't cut this long enough or tall enough to cover the whole rust spot, and it was too late to, as you can see, I started cutting there, and then I was like, oh no, we need it longer, and it still wasn't long enough. So that was just a stupid mistake on my part. So luckily it covered most of the rust, and then I just cut out that little section there, so we can just put a little piece of metal in there. So that side turned out pretty good. I made that curve line, and that actually followed through pretty well. And then on this side, I think I just need to go home and eat because I'm not sure what happened. I cut this, like I literally measured what I needed and then cut it and then held it up, and I was like, what the heck? I cut like an extra 1.5 inches for some reason. So I had to cut this piece and weld it back in there, but I didn't have to cut the curve on this, and it lined up nicely. So that's kind of, I guess that was worth the screw up there, but I think that looks pretty good. So next on the list, before I remove these welds and basically take the hood off, I'm gonna try to fill that little patch just so I have a nice line to follow while it's still on the car. Okay, I don't know if that made a difference at all. I don't know if that looks better, or if now you can kind of tell that it looks worse. One part I'm not really, that's a bad side because it's all bad on that side. So one thing, we gotta go back here. So one thing I'm not liking at all is where this fender and that fender meet. That just nice angle and then straight, and then that big opening. It just looks goofy. So if you guys have some suggestions on that, let me know. That's definitely an eyesore. I don't like how that looks at all. So if we can kind of make something to tie the two together, I don't know. I mean, I guess really just making an angle from the two to meet would probably benefit a lot. And then the idea, I mentioned this before, we're going to get wheels that have a very negative offset. So if all goes to plan, the tire is going to be completely outside of the fender entirely. Like hopefully, like literally this inside of the tire will be about here. And the hub is all the way up here. So it really shouldn't be hard to get that negative of an offset. So let me know what you guys think about that. Overall, I like it. I like where it's heading. It's far from done, obviously, but I think we're getting to the right idea. I need to go home. I need to eat some food or something. I haven't had breakfast yet today, and it's dark outside. Just want to point out one last thing. We don't have to keep those front parts of the fender. I think if I can't get it to look right on that curve there, then we could probably just continue that straight line on the hood all the way up to the grill. Get rid of that. Probably look okay now that that's extended like that. So just more food for thought. Let me know what you think. So in other news, so we officially have a date for the Bug to get its roll cage, which is next Sunday, the 7th, I think. It's the 7th. I don't know if that's the Sunday, but we're taking it down next Sunday. So basically what that means is I have a lot of stupid little things all over the entire chassis that I want to clean up. I'm going to try to get it running and driving. So all I need really is to hook up shift linkage and get axles. And then I'm going to try and clean up the wiring because my ceilings in here are not high enough to take the body off the chassis once the cage is on. So over the next week, I'm going to try and get as much just a little tedious crap done and out of the way. Like I'm going to hopefully dedicate the entire week to just nonstop cleaning up and simplifying everything. So that way we can still lift the body up and down a little bit, but it won't completely come off anymore. At least at this shop, just because my ceilings are not as tall as they need to be. So that's the plan for the rest of the week. Very excited on that. That's a huge part of that build. As far as El Javette here goes, I'm gonna just keep working little aesthetic things until we have another step. Head gaskets are supposed to be here today. So if that shows up, then we'll get the Jeep running. If not, I'm gonna keep just making all the visible stuff I've been tinkering with, hopefully a little more finalized. So that's all I got for you. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think. And until next time, we will see you later.
Bye.